Welcome to a new Smart Money video where we're going to cover 7 ways to reduce your debt fast with no extra income. We have 7 tried and tested ideas to help you crush debt faster. So in this video, we're going to share them and bring them together in an example to show you just how powerful these 7 are. When you combine them together, they will make a massive impact in your life. So if you've wanted to destroy debt and to get out of debt faster, manage your finances better, then this video is for you. If you like to see videos on personal growth, investment and business, please subscribe. For our example, which we're going to be using, we're going to look at $6,000 of debt at an interest rate of 16%. These are the average numbers for the average American, and so it should be rather familiar for most people watching this video. Idea number 1 to reduce your debt is to stop increasing it. It sounds silly, but a lot of people don't have a budget. And the best way to do a budget is a zero-based budgeting exercise. What that is to simply clear the deck, take everything off your budget, and then add items back in one by one, slowly, and you will see how the spending builds up. It is proven that a zero-based budget will help you to create a tighter budget than just simply taking all your expenses and seeing what you can cut out. The biggest expenses in your budget are often the ones which make the most impact. Now, if you can, it is a great idea to change them, but they are slow to change. For those of you who are looking to crush debt faster, those are not going to be the best items, such as the house and the car. You can leave those alone and find other amounts of money which can help you to win. If you're struggling and you say, I can't actually find any money, I've been through my budget, and you know what? It is exactly the same. An idea later in the video is really going to help you break through this. Idea number 2 to reduce your debt is to switch suppliers or contracts. Often, long-running contracts such as your internet service provider or your gas and utility provider can have an increasing contract, and if you switch, you're able to save a lot of money. Personally, I saved $35 a month for the last 2 years by doing this method. If you add that up, that's just on $800 saved for exactly the same service, simply because I switched. So use those online comparison sites. Yes, they often earn a commission, but they actually do a good job of comparing the rates which are suitable for your life, then able to find savings from these long-running contracts which otherwise you would not have had. We have 2 ideas done, and there are another 5 to come. If you're finding it helpful so far, remember to hit that like button. Idea number 3 is to simply sell some of the expensive items you own. Now, in doing this, don't sell anything that you plan on doing again, because you're just going to end up buying that same item again, and in general, you lose at least 40% of the value of an item when you buy it. So rather look for the expensive items that you have not used in a long time. Perhaps it's that guitar or that piano that you bought a long time ago and just never played. Look to sell it. Don't rush the sale. Take your time. Sell it on eBay, Craigslist or otherwise. Or perhaps you have a smartphone lying around that is worth a few $100s that you have not sold. Think about selling that. That little bit of money is going to add up. And in our worked example later, you will see the impact that these ideas all have as they come together. It is a radical impact, literally transforming your financial life. Idea number 4 is to pay more than the minimum on your credit card or the loan balance. What I mean by this is, often a provider will say their minimum amount due on your credit card is, say, $180 or 3% of the balance. And so, by paying more than the minimum, you actually ramp up and speed up the process of getting rid of that debt. And this is really important, to get rid of the debt as fast as possible, because the interest is compounding and working against you. Idea number 5 is to focus on the high interest debt. This is what's costing you the most in the long run. And if you're able to pay it off quicker, you will ultimately save a lot of money. In our worked example, you will see just how much money you are actually able to save by using some simple ideas as shown in this video and bringing them all together. As we cover these different ideas for crushing debt and for paying off debt quicker, it's important to remember and to keep hope. Sometimes we look at our situation and it's quite dire and we feel, actually, I'm not sure how I can get out of it. Stick around in the video and you will see the powerful example and how quickly things can change for you for the good. Personally, in my own life, I had a crushing amount of debt, and actually persevering through, even when I could not see a way out, I managed to get out of it. Comment down below if you have managed to pay off some debt and what that freedom feels like, to inspire and encourage others. So we have 2 more ideas on how you can save money and crush that debt coming up. Idea number 6 is to negotiate lower rates. This might sound strange, but often you are able to approach a provider because something in the economy has changed, and you are able to negotiate down the interest rate that you're paying. For example, if you're paying 16% and you negotiate down to 12%, even though it's only 4%, it can have a massive impact on what's taking place. We actually use these figures in our worked example, and just the interest rate portion saves around about $600 or $700 over the repayment period. So do everything you can to negotiate a better rate. Sometimes you can consolidate multiple debts into a loan under a better rate. So look for those deals and really focus on doing that. When you get the deal, however, don't extend the credit limit. If you owe $6,000 and they offer you $7,000, just take the $6,000. That is the trap. And that is why people will refinance debt, because ultimately they understand most people do not have the discipline to simply consolidate their debt. They will extend their debt and thereby give more interest to that provider. Interest is how they make their money. Idea number 7 is a little bit of a secret in a sense, because it's not so much to do with the actual spending, but it's to do with the inside, with the heart and with the mind. You see, most people struggle with debt because they're focusing too much on the wrong thing. So if you can, readjust what you're focusing on. Instead of focusing on acquiring and spending money, focus on building money. Focus on your health. Take up running or a sport that is not expensive. Look towards spending more quality time with your family. Derive satisfaction from these things, as you will then save money naturally because your focus has shifted and you are no longer focusing on the things which cost a lot of money. So look through your budget and see, are there some things which you're doing which are hobbies where your focus is that are costing a lot of money, and look for something else to replace it with. This is a freedom and an act of freedom, so you can get free and stop spending that money. Now we're going to look at that worked example, and we're going to talk through how the 7 ideas come together and form a powerful impact to reduce debt faster. So for our worked example, we have $6,000 in debt at a 16% interest rate. First example we're going to look at is if you just pay the minimum. And what this means is, on the screen right now you can see you have $6,000 credit card debt. The interest per month would be about $80. And the simple way to calculate this is to just take your $6,000 multiplied by the interest rate, 16%, and divide by 12. Now that's not how the compounding works on the interest, but it is an easy way to get to plus minus how much interest are you paying per month. And then what is the minimum payment? In this case, the minimum payment is $180, which means we are going to pay off $100 off the capital, off that $6,000 per month. If we did this, the time to pay off the loan would take 3 years and 8 months, and it would cost us $1,957 in interest. Now that is a huge amount of interest, because you're paying almost $2,000, 1/3 of the cost of the $6,000 debt. You're paying that in the next 3.5 to 4 years. Now we're going to look at the worked example of what takes place once we put these 7 ideas into effect. So the first thing is the $6,000 becomes $5,800 because we sold something or a few items on eBay for $200. And then by taking ideas number 1, 2, and 7, which is budgeting, switching of providers, and living free, we're able to get a total payment of $306 per month. And the way I get to that, just for those of you who are interested, the budgeting, I said we save $60 on that. That's not too excessive, it's not too hard. I think most of us can find $60 in our budgets to save. Switching, $36 on utilities or on internet service provider. Number 7, living free, getting rid of some of those habits or otherwise which are costing you money each month. Now that adds up to a total of $126 in a single month that you are now able to save. Take that $126 and add it to the $180 and we end up with $306. That $306 is our new payment, and that new payment is going to really help us to get this debt nailed faster. Now, here's the great reveal. What does this do for our time to pay off? We were 3 years and 7 months, and it reduces it to 1 year and 9 months. In other words, instead of it taking us 43 months, it only takes us 21 months. It more than halves the time. And the interest, now this is the really interesting part. Before we paid $1,798 on interest, we're now only paying $624 on the interest. Literally, you are very close to paying 1/3 of the interest. And the reason why it takes about half the time and you only pay 1/3 of the interest is because of the compounding effect of the interest, and it is working against you in the first example, whereas the compounding effect of paying off more is working for you. And so that is critical. And one thing I wanted to mention as well is that idea number 4, remember we said we reduced the interest rate from 16% to 12%. And so we pay more than the minimum, we get a better rate, we save in our budget, we do switching, we live free, and we end up reducing our debt much faster and becoming free. If you've enjoyed this video, please remember to subscribe to the channel to get more videos like this. Share the video with someone who you think this could help, and together we can crush debt.